everybody. Welcome to the Day Late Show. We got all three hosts here today, which is nice. We've been doing that lately. We're going to be able to push out another episode here, and it's going to be a long one.
You looking like Bill Clinton over there.
Yeah, Nate, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Nathaniel.
I cannot shut my mouth.
I cannot have my mouth shut.
What are you doing right now?
Forget it. Well, that was a terrible intro.
Yeah.
Now we're back.
I gave you one job.
So,
It
wasn't my fault that you interrupted me to say Nate's mouth needs to shut.
Well, I didn't say Nate's mouth needs to be shut. I said it was open.
Whatever. Just, okay.
We can look back and we'll see who's right. No.
Today, we got a lot of topics at hand.
What's our first one?
Our first one we're going to be speaking about, it's going to be a pretty quick one probably, these Satanist schools that were almost implemented.
I think, what was that?
It wasn't Satan's school. It was like after school stuff.
It was like some extracurricular activities.
Yes.
It was
almost like after school Satan.
Almost like a club. I think it was like clubs. Kind of like that. Was it in D.C.? If I read correctly. No. I think it was in D.C.
I don't know. I'm going to look that up, though, real quick. Let's find out. But all I know is that it didn't pass. That's the last thing.
Yeah, some PTA members said that, and this
they're like, we ain't ready for Satan yet, huh?
But then these people who claim to be, Satan, they say they don't worship Satan. They only hold Lucifer as a, I don't know, a person to look up to, I guess. I don't know.
They're like, he isn't that.
They're all about, I heard one leader of a Satanist church say,
Satan Temple Student Club.
Yeah.
Oh, Arizona School District rejects satanic temples. Satan Student Club.
Yeah, they're all about, like, the guy said, if you're going to be a sinner, you might as well be a good one. So that's what they're all about.
The Satanic Temple has sent a letter of inquiry to Tuscan Unified School District regarding holding after-school Satan Club at Rust Ridge Bilingual K-8.
Oh, wow. See. Oh, yeah, it's a Satanic Temple, a group based in New York City that claims to be skeptical about supernatural beliefs, announced the creation of its after-school Satan clubs. Oh, okay.
That's skeptical of their own beliefs, is what I'm reading from that. If they're skeptical of the supernatural, but then they're like, oh, but we worship Satan.
Well, no, that's what I was saying, is that Satanists don't worship Satan. They use him as a symbol of just living in
that's what I
complete
read.
sin.
I've heard multiple things from different Satanists, so I think there's different Satanism.
Well, I'm sure, but the widely accepted version of Satanism is just...
See, this guy, this Douglas Messner, spokesperson and co-founder of the Satanic Temple, who goes by the name Lucian Greaves, told CP in an earlier interview that since Christian clubs are allowed at public schools, it creates the need for a counterbalance in the extracurricular options. Oh, okay, so that's the argument. Interesting.
Greaves claimed, while the good news clubs teach children shame, guilt, and fear that they will die and be tormented in hell, the after-school Satan clubs will focus on art projects and education with no religious opinion inserted.
Well, I mean, then why do you have to name it a Satan club? Name it just art class.
Except the
Be like
religion.
secular art class.
Yeah, I mean...
Except the religion of Satanism. That's the only one that'll be inserted.
I mean, interesting. I mean, I don't know what kids are thinking about it, but they probably didn't even hear about the story since it didn't even pass, but still.
Yeah. Well, that topic didn't pass, so the clubs are...
It's just interesting, though, nowadays. We're going to create a club for pretty much anything and try to get a pass in a district for kids to incorporate into their school life,
It's because every kid is special and different, and that's why there has to be a gender for each child now.
But you can't say what their gender is when they're first born.
No.
Anyway.
That's misgendering.
Moving on, the next topic we have is the topic of the anti-SJW movement and the controversies and arguments happening within that realm of
Okay,
media.
I'm just going to say what's going on so far. So there was a guy named, well, one of them is really well known in YouTube, which is The Amazing Atheist, and another guy named Atheism is Unstoppable. I forget what his name is. I always forget what his real name is. But anyways, apparently what happened was, now I can't find like all the sources so far. I haven't looked too hard for it, but I know parts of the story, which is apparently what happened was someone was reporting his Twitter because he was pro-doxing people, and if you don't know what doxing is, it's giving personal information out when someone wants to remain anonymous on the internet or something like that. And he was, I guess they flagged his posts and he got like his Twitter suspended or something like that, and he got all mad, so he made a YouTube video exposing the person's name, and the person is 14 years old that got his name exposed on the internet. Now, some people go, oh, I don't know why it matters that a kid's name is exposed on the internet. Well, I mean, if you're someone like Atheism is Unstoppable or The Amazing Atheist, for instance, The Amazing Atheist has around 1 million subscribers, so there's obviously going to be a few people that watch him that want to take things into their own hands and spread hate and whatever, which I don't really care about the hate part, but I care about personal information being given out, because if personal information is getting out, then that means you can SWAT someone's house or something like that. And pretty much The Amazing Atheist has called out other people, SJWs, for doxing people, but he's not calling out Atheism is Unstoppable, which is very hypocritical of him. And the only person that's really talking about this, well, there's only been 2 people in the anti-SJW community that's like spoken out about it, and the main person is Naked Ape, and then the other person is Tyler Preston, but Tyler Preston just pretty much said he wasn't for doxing. And then I heard like Bearing and Undoom talk about it on a live stream, and they don't really, I only heard bits and pieces of it, but from the sound of it, it sounded like they were saying, oh, it's not that big of a deal. This happened a while ago. I don't know why we're still talking about it. But it is something that needs to be addressed. If you're anti-doxing, then you need to say that. You need to talk about that. And why'd you turn the volume all the way down?
So that it wouldn't.
The ad?
Yes, and nothing will show up on there.
Well, this thing
Anyway.
makes a lot of ads. But anyways, so I don't know what really is going on with that. If you are going to be anti-doxing, do it, say it all around, because it seems like The Amazing Atheist or TJ Kirk is just pandering and kind of being like, oh, well, I mean, it isn't as bad if it's Atheism is Unstoppable since he's my good friend and whatever. And honestly, it's just, there's a lot of people though that are going after The Amazing Atheist right now, and from my perspective it's high time, because The Amazing Atheist doesn't speak for the atheism community, even though a lot of people do think that. And I get tired of him thinking that he is kind of the be-all, end-all when it comes to what he says, just because he has the biggest fan base. I don't believe that for a second. So hopefully this gets resolved or something. I mean, Atheism is Unstoppable hasn't apologized for being pro-doxing, even though he's been doxed himself. He's still, as far as we know, pro-doxing. So something needs to happen. I mean, if the anti-SJWs, I've talked about this before, their biggest problem in the atheist community is the biggest problem in the Christian community, which is pride. They are super arrogant and think they are usually above pretty much everyone else morality-wise. They're like, oh, well, we don't do this or we don't do that, but y'all do this and y'all do that. Well, if they're going to keep their moral high point, then they need to condemn Atheism is Unstoppable, in my view, which a lot of them haven't. Only a few have. And that's not good, because they always say we're a free and open forum, but you aren't a free and open forum if people are threatening to dox you. And I heard TJ Kirk say, oh, well, he isn't silencing anybody by doing that. But yeah, he is. That's silencing them. They're afraid to say something about Atheism is Unstoppable because he would dox somebody. I mean, that you can't do that. That's just If someone wants to be anonymous on the internet, then they should be able to be anonymous on the internet. And, I mean, I've already heard that he deletes comments on his videos and stuff like that. I mean, atheism is unstoppable. If you're going to try and debate somebody with logic and reason, at least be a man about it. Seriously. Be a man about it. Stop crying just because someone got some of your tweets blocked or you got suspended from Twitter or something like that. Stop throwing your temper tantrums, okay? Take it like a man. That's all I have to say on that subject.
All right. Well then, moving on to the next topic, which is the recent bus bombing in Paris.
Which also talks about the Normandy thing, because we haven't even gotten to talk about that because there's been so much that's been going on.
But this story is in Paris on July 28th, around 1 a.m. There was a group of Muslim migrants in Paris, and they, through shouts of Allahu Akbar, threw a Molotov cocktail into a passenger bus that was taking people around the city, and it apparently melted the entire bus. I didn't see, there's no reports of how many people are dead right now, but yeah, that's pretty insane. And we'll try to get the video either linked or in our own video for you guys to see it. But it's pretty crazy. But I just think it's about time we stop ignoring this kind of thing that's happening.
I think I said it already in one of these podcasts that, I mean, we're in a war whether we think we are or not. It's a war now. I mean, the world is up against Islamic terrorism. That's what it's up against. Yep. I said it a while ago, and I said that people aren't going to call it that. We can, see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil, but that doesn't change that the evil is there. Yeah. It's still there. And we can say all we want, oh, well, this isn't really happening. I mean, I just got done watching a video of Black Pigeon Speaks, and he did a really good video on that subject to an extent, so I'll link that down below also. He's one of my favorite YouTubers right now. But, I mean, there's just not I'm tired of people saying, oh, this is the minority. This is definitely the majority. This is definitely the majority because of the countries that are pro-Sharia law. They're like, this isn't all Muslims. Yeah, obviously it's not all Muslims, but it's the majority of Muslims.
No matter if it's all or none or some, it's happening.
Yeah, and it's happening at a frequent rate.
And we're not stopping it.
And it's run rampant, and it's already, I feel it's already past late. I mean, it's like...
Well, think about it. It's running so rampant that us doing a show once a week doesn't have time to report on it. Like, I could have just missed that story unless Ryan pulled it up like 5 seconds ago. That's like the bombing in Iraq that killed 300 people not that long ago. I didn't even get to do a story on that because it happened so fast, and then there was more stuff happening.
I didn't even hear about it.
See? That's how quickly things are happening. It's just things are going on like that, and we need to figure out a way to stop it. Because if we don't stop it, it's just going to keep running rampant, and I just don't know what to do, really. I mean, we try and make stories on it and report on it, and then it happens so fast that we don't have time to report on it. That's how quickly it's happening.
Yeah, so, and this is the second Muslim terrorism attack in Paris in the past, week. There was also the killing of a priest.
I think it was 2 priests in Normandy.
I'm going to look it up real quick.
But they were beheaded, both of them, by a 14-year-old, by the way. He's 14.
What?
The kid was 14 who did it. And I'll link videos of people explaining it better than we can below also, because there's some good people out there on YouTube that give the full story on it and whatever. But, I mean...
he was that young.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I forget who it was. It might have been Sargon that made a video about how quickly people can get radicalized in the what's it called, in the Muslim communities, like because see, we don't have this really in America, but in Europe they have this a lot. Like in France and in Britain, they have Muslim ghettos, and a lot of times for people to get out of the ghettos is for them to join like ISIS, and what's it called, they go and they do something in the name of Allah, which is committing suicide, and that's what gets them into heaven. That's why you have people.
In those ghettos, they're brought up that way, so that's the only way they know how to think.
Well, yeah.
So the ideology is already saturated from a young age.
Well, we were talking about this on what's it called. The people who did 9/11, like right before they did 9/11, they were in Las Vegas with, having gambling and strippers and everything else, which is all, what's it called, all prohibited in the Islam teachings, but their belief is it is all paid for when they are committing suicide in the name of Allah, when they're doing jihad. Which I can link more videos on that down below. There's going to be a lot of links in this, and this is going to be a long podcast because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And I'm sorry if my voice is not as loud as normal. I'm sick right now. I am sick, so it's hard for me to talk a lot, even though I am talking a lot right now. But yeah, do you have the story up for the Normandy thing yet?
Yeah, I just found the Wikipedia post about it, which is just laying out the facts of there were 2 terrorists, and they took, let me see, where is it? Took 6 people hostage and killed only one of them, the 85-year-old priest Jacques Hamel, and they slit his throat.
Okay.
And then they critically wounded an 86-year-old man. And then the terrorists were both killed by the police.
Yeah. So that's what's going on, and this is becoming frequent.
Also, they pledged allegiance to ISIS. So.
And I talked about this when I watched a video of someone talking about German guilt also, which is people are just we can't give anybody a free pass. Okay, if you are going somewhere, you abide by their rules. If I'm going to Europe, then I'm going to abide by Europe's rules. If I'm going to, Africa, I'm going to abide by African rule. It doesn't matter. I'm under the law.
Yeah.
People who, they did a poll in Britain, and the statistic was, I think it's around 50% of Muslims or over think that Sharia law should be implemented in Britain. That should be the law.
Wow.
We need to put a stop to this. Okay, I'm tired of the rhetoric of not all, not all Muslims, not all. We know it's not all. Okay, that's not the point we're making. We aren't making. Okay, it's the same thing as.
You understand that it's not every single one.
Yes,
but you can't dismiss that it's happening.
It's happening
a lot.
What would happen if Christians started doing this?
Yeah, it's not all Christians, maybe.
But then there would be pitchforks, and there'd be pitchforks, torches, protests, saying, "All right, time to kill the church." Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with the concept we have of racism. There are people who think that black people cannot be racist. There are people who think that. They go, oh, because of what has happened to them, they can't be racist. It doesn't matter what they do. You have people like Black Hitler on YouTube saying, I praise the people who kill cops and whatever, kill those pigs. What is going on right now?
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be held to the same standard.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you believe in or what color you are or what gender you are.
Yeah.
And we aren't doing that. We aren't doing that at all. We're giving people free passes and we're saying, oh, it's fine. Luckily, we aren't as bad as Europe yet. But if we keep trying to let in
we'll be even worse
migrants from Syria. There's a poll just came in from Heat Street, which is 40% of Muslim migrants let in 2015 were men. 40% of them were men. adult men, not women, not children, who they kept trying to say, oh, look at this, you know, we need to give them, when they kept showing that picture of the boy who drowned, I should say.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah. We were just talking about that. The, what's it called? The plural?
Okay, taking a break
Yeah.
from the serious topics. Before we started recording, and I had just gotten here as Aaron was in the middle of scolding Nathaniel for trying to ask this question. But Nathaniel asked, can you pluralize a plural?
Yeah.
Now, let me back it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Please explain it to us.
So, my question was, if there was an instance where you wanted to pluralize a plural, could there be a term that you can refer to
You can't just say no.
that means that something is doubly plural?
All right, so back to the point. They plastered that kid everywhere. I'm not sure if y'all remember that. It was like last year. They kept plastering when
No,
this
I
whole
don't remember
refugee
that one.
thing happened. People were sharing the video everywhere on Facebook, everywhere on YouTube, being like, you see this boy who drowned trying to get to a safe place and he died, you know, and whatever, like, look at this, and look at all that happened and whatever, and we need to let them all in. They put that everywhere, and now the poll says that year 40% of the people who came to Europe and who came to America were all men.
Wow.
What's going on?
Yeah.
What? I mean, we already know that a lot of people who are coming in through the refugee program aren't even from Syria. We know that they're just from different countries that aren't even at
It's
war.
scattered. It's
Yeah.
scattered. Like, I mean, you
There's
can't really
there's no
pinpoint.
way to tell. There's no way for us to.
Well, especially with our non-border system now, there's no way to tell.
Yeah.
Anyone who comes in. So,
I mean, and we want to keep letting thousands and thousands of people in. Where's our morals? What is our morals?
Where do we stop?
Yeah, like, we were just talking about this with normalizing things yesterday, because we were going to try and do the podcast yesterday, but we couldn't. That 18-year-old or 21-year-old who wants to be a baby, and then we were talking about the other people who's like the 50-something-year-old man who left his wife and 7 kids to go be a 6-year-old girl. I
Yeah.
mean, why are we trying to normalize these things?
yeah.
And I know a lot of people who listen to this will probably be like, oh, well, I'm not normalizing it or whatever, but I'm not saying, once again, not all, hashtag not all, but there are people who are trying to normalize this, and we don't know where to stop. We don't know where our morals should stop. I mean,
Well, the normal that was is the abnormal of now.
yeah,
So, everything's flipped. Everything's flipped now.
yeah, we don't
So-
have really any, we don't have a basis
Each
for
person has their
normality.
own, compass and mindset as what normal is. So we really can't. And then if you say that's not normal, then you're being,
Yeah,
A bigot.
you're being a
or
bigot.
you're insulting them somehow and their family and their heritage, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like,
that.
so
I don't-
we can't step on someone's shoes. We're not trying to, but we can't even express our own opinion, because then if we do, we'll be looked at as, oh wow, this guy.
Well, I was
You know,
talking
this
about.
guy's like-
We talked about this a few episodes ago, also, when I was talking about the borders, because we've talked about it more than once here. We aren't the caretakers for the world. We aren't babysitting the world. There comes a
Yeah.
time where we have to think about ourselves, and it sounds selfish, and then people go, "Oh, that's so selfish," and whatever. But we have to think about ourselves. Okay, if we don't think about ourselves, we're not going to be a nation. And it sounds like fear mongering, but it's true. If you keep just letting people walk on you, and you keep letting people do what they want to do and whatever, you're not going to be a nation anymore. It's not going to happen. If these people who are coming in are not going to, I don't know what the word is. Let's see. Kind of migrate into our culture. If they aren't going to accept our culture and they want to keep their culture from their countries, and be like, oh no, we don't have to abide by your law. That's my problem with Sharia law. Sharia law is, oh well, we'll go by that law, but then in secret we'll practice Sharia law, which we've seen that happen in Europe multiple times of people practicing Sharia law in the Muslim ghettos. It's happening. And I mean, and no one's talking about it. No one's talking about that happening, but it's happening. It's getting very tiring.
But then one would argue, freedom of religion. The other side would say, then where's our freedom in that? Why can't we express what we want to express?
I would say because it's a law. You're saying that's a law. The difference between things like Christianity and Buddhism and pretty much any other religion is it's a religion, not also a law. We have things that we aren't supposed to do in the Bible, but we also abide by the law. When you're a Muslim, you have Sharia law, which is from the Hadith. And the difference, which this is a point that Black Pigeon Speaks made, so I'm once again going to link that video, because that was a really good video. But he was talking about moderate Muslims don't really think that the Hadith is that important, which is kind of the text of Muhammad, a lot of Muhammad's texts and whatever, but people like ISIS are following Islam to the letter. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're doing it to the very letter. That's why people are thrown off buildings for being gay and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But we don't want to talk about that because we might hurt some feelings of some Muslims that are in America. The difference between moderate Muslims and quote-unquote radical Muslims is that they don't really follow the Hadith, and they just kind of go, they don't take the text literally. A lot of Muslims in different countries, especially where Sharia law is practiced, is taken literally. So that's the difference. And once again, it's a law. They have their own system of laws. No, I can't think of another religion that has that. I know that, for instance, Christianity has things that are sinful, and the only way we would not abide by the law is if it contradicted the Bible as being sinful. Like if, for instance, in America it was okay to kill people, we wouldn't kill people because it's not allowed to kill people in the Bible, whatever. Something, just a crude example like that. But it also states in the Bible to follow the law. That's why Jesus said to follow the law in Rome.
Yeah. Give Caesar's what is Caesar's.
Yeah. So something's got to change, and we're at war, whether we want to say we're at war or not. Speaking of war, I heard that North Korea declared war on the U.S.
I heard a little bit about that. Everybody was laughing at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
It's a little scary, but at the same time, it is a little funny.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
okay,
you're basically killing yourselves too.
Well, I mean, we kind of already knew that. Like the whole entire, when has North Korea ever liked us? Besides Dennis Rodman.
Well, Dennis was our ambassador.
Yeah, Dennis was our ambassador.
He was their patsy.
He was the ambassador. He was the spy. I bet he
ran all those basketball camps, up in North Korea. He got some support.
North Korea is one of the most mysterious places ever. There's so many places that you weren't even allowed to take pictures at.
My guitar teacher at Richland, he keeps showing me this video because he forgets that he shows it to me, but it's still interesting to watch, of these 10 North Korean kids playing a classical guitar piece all on a stage. And it is they're all wearing that weird makeup that you see kids, and these kids are 8 years old. And you see them in this weird makeup, and they're all smiling really creepy, and they're all doing the exact same thing, and there's choreography, and they're turning in their chairs the same direction, and all this weird stuff. And it's we don't even know what they're doing in these schools.
We have
how much
no
punishment
idea.
went into to those kids.
That's that's like a Vice video I saw, and it was about they have rehabilitation camps now in China for video game addiction. it's really crazy. It was super crazy and really interesting because, see, when you think in America, you think Call of Duty kids playing
Right.
and eating their Doritos and drinking their Mountain Dew, whatever. But in China, the reason they play games is to get away from communism a lot of the time and authority. So they actually have to take them to old military camps and, like, it's insane. I highly recommend watching it. It's super interesting. Super interesting. And we kind of got off topic there, but it's whatever.
There's just a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about.
Well, to get back on track more then, our next topic is a Texas girl who recently said in a speech, she was a, let me see, what is it? Student government leader at the University of Houston.
Oh, it was university.
Suspended for 50 days in order to attend a diversity seminar after she criticized the Black Lives Matter movement online. So,
All right, so this is what it says. This is what's in front of my screen, at least right now. It says, "Forget Black Lives Matter, more like all lives matter."
yeah.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
I don't know how that's criticism, but it sparked outrage among some students, and the Student Government Association slapped her with some pretty severe sanctions. It includes a 50-day suspension beginning August 1st, mandatory attendance of a diversity workshop. That sounds scary, actually. Mandatory attendance of 3 cultural events per month. What does that even mean? A reflection letter and a public presentation at the Student Government Association meeting. I don't think this job's worth it, lady. I don't think
That's all.
one
That's the
tweet.
punishment. That's the punishment for saying that.
that's the punishment for
That's the
saying
punishment for freedom of speech, yes.
for all lives matter. And I mean,
I don't understand.
well, Milo Yiannopoulos' Dangerous Faggot tour really showed how terrible college campuses have gotten when it comes to free speech.
It's like non-existent.
It's
there.
it's non-existent. It's insane. It is just insane. It's really fun to watch those, by the way. If you haven't watched any of those videos, if you watch literally any of them, there are protests outside, people trying to make sure they don't come in and whatever.
We can link one in the description.
Yeah, more links. You'll have all the links today.
Yeah, you guys could just spend the rest of your day looking into what we've been looking at.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's so much stuff, and we try and give you interesting stuff, fun stuff, not the boring stuff. This right here, it's the good stuff right here.
Yeah.
To quote gamer cleaner.
It's just like we go
Gamer
one way,
gear.
but we don't go the other way. Like, what if it was forget all lives matter?
Yeah.
More like Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
What if it was flipped? Now would that does it
They,
have repercussions?
she would have been
I mean,
praised.
Maybe, probably.
That's kind of like Leslie
it's
Jones' racist tweets that she made, and then Milo Yiannopoulos is the one that gets banned off Twitter, but Leslie Jones isn't. And then the CEO of Twitter's like, we're doing everything we can to make sure that Twitter is more of a safe place when ISIS accounts are still up. What is going on? What is going on? I know they already didn't like Milo. They gave him, they took off his verified tick beside his name a while back, and then they did that. So they already had it out for him, but
I just now see a meeting on September 28th. So this girl is a girl, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Man, now I wonder what her family is thinking and all this.
I mean,
You know.
I would just quit the job that she has because she works for the university, right?
She was part of the student body government thing there,
The association.
which is not worth keeping.
Yeah, not worth it. Just leave. If you have to do all of that,
Yeah.
that is a lot of stuff to do. That is almost 2 months of stuff. Look at that. Starts August 1st, and then the last thing that she's doing is September 28th. That's almost a month, 2 months.
And a
Of-
50-day suspension.
Oh my gosh. that
Wait, but
is-
is this all in the 50 days?
I don't know.
Or is that accept?
I
Is that,
guess.
I mean, it's a part of the suspension, but like there's an
Because I
attendance
guess
of diversity.
that's, I guess, for today's.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
diversity workshop, which sounds scary. Once again, I don't like that word workshop. It just sounds creepy to me. But mandatory attendance of 3 cultural events per month for the 50 days.
because apparently this tweet means that she needs to learn more about culture and cultural things.
If she has to do 3 per month,
And
for
a
month,
reflection letter and a public presentation. So she has to actually present a case, maybe.
she almost has
And I guess this reflection letter implies her reflection on
to how
what
wrong
she's
she
done,
is.
maybe.
I hope she comes out and
I'm
says,
not
I
sure.
don't regret it.
That would be great. That would be great.
And then she flips the school bird and then leaves.
You gotta be careful where you go nowadays. You gotta be careful, man. I didn't know. I thought this was gonna be something that was blown out of proportion by the right because, you know, for instance, Kim Davis and the whole Baker thing, or the whole I'm not gonna marry gays thing was kind of blown out of proportion. And you could really tell.
Oh, the baking cake one?
No, the lady who was like, I'm not gonna give marriage certificates.
Oh, yeah.
That was blown way out of proportion, and you could tell because Josh Fierstein was there.
It's not him right now.
Move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Anyways, I thought it was going to be blown out of proportion, but it is not blown out of proportion if she's getting that much punishment for saying one Facebook post.
And that kind of transitions into our next one because that's the
Well,
DNC.
The next thing is the
Is it DNC or Ben Shapiro, who's
No,
been eyeballing
DNC.
me through this whole entire podcast?
Yeah, we've had a picture of him up by coincidence.
You know,
But anyway.
you have a Norton, right?
No,
Okay.
I no antivirus for Ben Shapiro.
Okay, well,
The next thing we got to talk about is at the DNC. There was a moment of silence that was to be held for fallen officers, and it was interrupted by shouts of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
So-
I'm gonna do some editing magic and put that video up, but
Yeah.
not at the start
so who
of
was
this
speaking?
time.
Do you know?
It was.
Wow, when did
shoot,
like,
I just
who
saw
was
it. Where is it in here? The Dallas County Sheriff Lupe Valdez.
Okay, so a police officer.
Yeah,
was speaking.
she was trying to,
I think if I remember correctly, she was trying to remember a moment of silence for the fall. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
the
fallen
fallen
officers.
officers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put that video
Yeah.
literally right now.
Please help me in honor of all of American fallen officers with a moment of silence.
All right, y'all are done watching that video, so we're back. And now that you've seen that video,
We gotta up our editing game.
yeah, we gotta up the editing game. I like editing. Actually, it's fun.
That's
I'm
good.
proud. I'm proud of the edits that we do once they're put on there. But anyways, not that one. So
Sorry.
what? No one has
What's up
respect
with
anymore.
this?
Again,
No one has respect. This is why I don't support Black Lives Matter. Now, I've said it so many times. Black Lives Matter is pretty much just an extortion group. They go around and they say, okay, you offended us, give us our money. That's like what happened with the Gay Pride Festival in, I think, Ontario not that long ago. And they shut it down because they were like, there's not enough colored gay people in this. So we're going to shut it down. But you can do it as long as you remember
well,
Black Lives
a
Matter.
lot of the rallies too, like you see, I mean, it's more like violent than a
Yeah.
protest
Oh,
like should be. Like, I mean, like you're protesting.
The
okay,
only
I
one
understand
that
you can
wasn't
protest,
violent
but
was
there's a couple that haven't. There's a couple that haven't been.
The
Violent.
only
I
one
mean,
that I can remember in recent memory that wasn't violent was the Dallas one, and then it turned into a shooting.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So, not a good track record for Black Lives Matter, the racist group. I'm not afraid to say it's a racist group. It's
yeah.
it's a racist group. All right, I'm just gonna put it out there. And if someone would like to tell me why they aren't a racist group, I'm always open to discussion and I'm always open to debating about it. But
Join us in the comments like we always
please, I mean, come on. what more has to be done for people to realize this is a racist group? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, obviously nothing. There's nothing else that can be done. They've already targeted white people and police officers specifically, so...
Yeah. See, and I don't think... Once again, going back to how many stories have happened this last week, I don't even think I talked about Bernie being into his own, leaving the party after endorsing Hillary Clinton. I don't even think I talked about that yet. But back to Black Lives Matter is, why are we letting this happen? I have no idea. You have like the president praising Black Lives Matter, and then they have meetings, and then they talk about how they want to segregate the news reporters from blacks and whites. That happened as well. What's going on? And I always hear, well, not all. There's like, oh, not all. Once again, hashtag not all. It's always not all. That's always the defense. But once again, it doesn't matter because it's the majority of Black Lives Matter. And I said this a long time ago, which is, if I were black and I thought racial injustice was going on, I would not want Black Lives Matter being the people that represent me. I would not want Black Lives Matter being the ones representing me. Because if Black Lives Matter is representing me, all they're making me do is look like I'm violent, making me look like all I want to do is cause trouble, and that I'm pretty much a racist. Because there's a lot of people that think that. There's a lot of people who think that Black Lives Matter is racist. It's not hard to see at this point, but a lot of people don't see it. They're too ignorant. Or they go, oh, well, that doesn't delegitimize the cause, but yes, it does. It totally delegitimizes it. You're trying to say that black lives have more, they get off easier for things, especially racist things. They don't have any punishment. But if other races do it, then they get punished for it. That's what you're trying to say. You're putting a handicap on it. You're just victims. Y'all are all victims. You're playing the victim card. Woe is me. Look at me. Cry me a river. That's all it is. It's getting really repetitive at this point. And yeah, it's crazy. But I want to touch on that Bernie Sanders thing real quick. Bernie Sanders endorsed Hillary, and then after he endorsed Hillary, he left the party after the DNC leak, and them showing the biasness towards Hillary at the very start of the campaign. I've said this before. I don't agree with pretty much anything Bernie Sanders says, but I always say, which is, you can tell he's a nice guy. You can tell his heart is in the right place. He may not have the best ideas, but you can tell he's trying. I just wish he wasn't so nice to Hillary Clinton, because here's the thing. When you endorse somebody, it doesn't matter what happens after that. It literally doesn't matter. You can endorse and then leave, and it's still an endorsement. Yeah. That's still an endorsement. Yeah. He should have just not done it. He should have not been in the DNC at all. And if he did, he should have hijacked the speech. He should have said, oh, I'm going to endorse her, and then pull a Ted Cruz. Pull a Ted Cruz at the RNC. That's what he should have done.
I mean, I've heard some reports that, he had to endorse her because you don't want to split the party even more than it was going to be split.
I don't know. I don't. Even then, don't do it, Bernie. You shouldn't have done it, man.
Hey, it happened and he's done it. And
I just didn't think he was going to do it. Well, I really didn't think he was going to do it.
I really didn't either.
That really caught me off guard. I really thought Bernie would have been like, nope, she's the establishment, she's crooked, she's whatever, like his whole entire campaign was. But he didn't do it. I'm really surprised by that. Yeah. Really, really surprised by that. So what, is Ben Shapiro next?
Yeah.
All right, so anyways, Ben Shapiro was kicked off of a college campus. He's banned. And Milo Yiannopoulos says, this is from Heat Street. I love Heat Street. They have such great news articles. But anyways, Milo Yiannopoulos has no sympathy for Ben Shapiro, who, like Milo, has been banned from DePaul University. I actually talked about DePaul University, like, the second episode of this. That's how long ago we've been doing this. DePaul, that was when DePaul had all their protests and Milo was banned. And now we're talking about Ben Shapiro being banned. Pretty interesting. But anyways, instead of accusing the fellow conservative speaker of being an uncool follower, the conservative provocateur and Breitbart tech editor has resumed his war of words with Shapiro, the political commentator and editor-in-chief of the Daily Wire, even though both of them have now been outlawed by overzealous authorities at the Chicago University. Shapiro was barred from speaking at a Young Americans for Freedom panel scheduled for fall by DePaul on the spurious grounds that they were ill-equipped to cope with security challenges of having him as a speaker based on his previous engagements at campuses. Well, if you don't like what someone says, just ban them. That's what it is
with the Houston girl too.
If you don't like it, ban it. That's all you need to do now. It doesn't matter. Arguments, debates are not a thing anymore. It's not the
conversations don't happen.
It's not the war of the minds. It's not war of words.
Now
let's not do that anymore. Let's just ban people.
No one wants to have a discussion or a debate or anything anymore. It's just if we don't agree with you,
you get triggered.
Yeah, I mean,
we make fun of being triggered a lot, but that is such a cancerous thing. It's so terrible that we have to have safe, just the concept of safe spaces. When is the world does not cater to you. The world does not cater to you, guys. That's not how the world works. You have to cater to the world. That's how it works. The world does not go, oh, I triggered him by causing this natural disaster. I wish this didn't happen. Oh, let me give him a safe space. That's not how it works. All right, everyone can't just know what you're going through. Not everyone can just know what it's like to be you.
Or care.
Or know what your gender is, or whatever. It doesn't matter, It's, man. It is a...
we're living in a unique time right now.
Very unique. Very unique. And it's crazy how much is going on. I mean, college campuses, I guess they aren't worth going to anymore because all you're going to do is learn about gender studies, and if you have an opinion that differs from the majority, you're going to be silenced. Because that's how it works.
Pretty much.
Apparently.
Sad.
That's
Very
how it is.
sad.
Is there any other things that we remembered to talk
The
about?
last one on the list is about the Hillary Clinton.
Oh, Hillary saying she's going to raise taxes.
And it's very interesting because this article on the Daily Caller, they say that the crowd cheered and Clinton appeared unaware of her Freudian slip, which, in case y'all didn't know, there was a speech. Was this the DNC?
No, I think it was
campaign.
after.
Campaign rally in Nebraska.
She's
was
already moving.
She was announcing that she was going to make everything more fair for the middle class and raise taxes for the middle class. After saying Trump wants to lower taxes for the rich, and then she says she wants to raise taxes.
What does this article say? Something about a Freudian slip?
It said the crowd cheered and Clinton appeared unaware of her Freudian slip. Then later on, it says she has said she plans to cut taxes for the middle class, but an analysis by Americans for Tax Reform examines how Clinton's tax proposals would actually raise taxes on the middle class.
So maybe her Freudian slip was
less of a Freudian
maybe,
slip than
maybe she's so evil that she thinks she can say it right in front of us, and then no one will know.
It was like testing the waters, dipping your toe and being like, "Oh no, it's just a mistake."
It's like when you tell someone. It's like when you ask the question, when you go, has anyone ever, and then
Yeah.
it's something really embarrassing, and then when everyone says no, you're like, ha, neither have I. Neither
just
have I.
wanted to see.
I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see. That's what she's doing.
It's
right
interesting.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we watched that video. Now I'm going to play that video for you right now.
We're going to write fairer rules for the middle class, and we are going to raise taxes on the middle class.
Okay, now it's done. You are already back.
Leave yourself no
what is
time to edit
Yeah, I
this
know.
in.
I have no time to edit it in.
You have a split second.
I'll do it. I'll figure it out.
.093.
I'll figure it out. But now that you've watched that video, we watched it like 3 times in a row, and
Because we couldn't believe that she would say that.
Well, we watched it at different speeds too.
yeah, we watched it at different speeds, and y'all were saying that it sounds like she said she isn't going to.
And then one time I did, she said that she is. And so
Yeah.
like she used the
Now,
contraction aren't. So there was are and aren't, and it kept getting mixed up. So it was
Yeah, but her emotion, like her, well, not emotion, but motions with her hands looked like more of a proclamation.
it was because she was
Yeah.
contrastive from what she was saying with Trump. So it sounded like she was like, "We are going to do this with the middle class," as opposed to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
And
I don't know. Maybe this it's weird. Like,
okay,
this is a good article. This is
yeah,
a really
one
good
of those
article
funny
because
This is gonna be weird. This is gonna be weird. Out of
because
the blue
really
also,
it'll
which
be,
is
yeah, that Freudian slip though. I mean, it's maybe
Freudian
it was planned.
slip.
Maybe it was
Quotes.
planned.
yeah, maybe it was
And
planned.
it was
Maybe
just like,
she is a lizard person. We
Public
don't know.
won't know.
Yeah.
But they'll know. But
Yeah,
they won't.
but
they'll know.
and then later
They were like feeling really bold, and they were like, "Let's just see how much people are actually listening.
Yeah,
What do you
exactly.
have to say?"
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think-
we'll see. I don't know.
this is something out of the blue and weird, but I actually heard a few days ago or maybe a week ago. I was watching a Leafy is Here video about something, and he was saying I only listened to something. It was talking about Marina Joyce. He was talking about that "Help Me" clip, and he was saying. He's like, I listened to something once, and if it sounds like that thing happened, then to me it happened. But if you keep listening to it over and over again, you'll hear a bunch of different things. So I'm going to go with the Leafy is Here tactic. I heard it once, so she said R. That's what I'm going to put in.
Go with your gut.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going
go
with
with your
gut,
gut.
because I do know that actually does happen. If you try and listen to something too closely, you'll hear what you want to hear.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point too. It's just like
So thank you for that, Leafy is Here. I know you'll be watching this video. I know that you're a fan of
We
ours.
plan to have you on soon.
Yeah, we plan to have you on soon. Speaking of having people on, the thing I want to do so badly is have, once we get our camera and the whole studio thing set up, we really need to have I am unashamedly just putting his name out there for you guys to watch his videos. Say Goodnight, Kevin. We need to have him on this so badly, man. He is such a good YouTuber. That last video he made.
what was it?
Miracles in Heaven.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
what he does is he reviews Christian movies.
Yeah, I saw the one about God's Not Dead. And that
yeah,
was great.
and holds it up
So,
to
Yeah.
the normal movie standards. It's amazing. It's amazing.
He is pretty good.
He's
pretty
very
great.
he's very comedic, and I like his humor. It's great.
So
Check
if
him
you're,
out,
if you're
you guys.
listening to this right now, Kevin,
Yeah, come on the show.
come on the show.
And not only that, but if any of you go check him out, be like, "Hey, the Day Late Show sent us."
And we really want you to be on that show.
That's a
sometime.
great plug.
And we'll be talking
Yeah, great
probably a
plug.
lot about
wanna-
the economy, because he likes the economy, and about
He just
God.
seems like such
So-
an interesting. No, he just seems like such an interesting guy. I want to know.
no, he does.
We
We'll
have
take you to some froyo.
Yeah, we have some big plans for this Day Late Show. Don't worry. We're actually starting on making a theme soon, so we don't have to, steal people's music all the time.
Now we are giving them credit.
Yeah, we are giving them
Okay.
credit. We link them.
Check them
all
out,
that.
buy their
Check them
music.
out, yeah.
We like these artists.
Yes, it's
so-
not. Yeah,
But
they're
we
not.
are not
It's not
paid
our
to do
music.
this.
It's
Yeah,
not
we
our
are
music.
paid anyway, even though we sound like we're being paid to put all these plugs in. I've said Black Pigeon Speaks, Leafy is Here. I mean,
We have zero promotions. We just really like this stuff.
we just
okay?
really
We're all
like
self-promoted,
this content.
okay?
Yeah, we're self-promoted. We are a self-sustaining business. Not Sure. Yeah.
We're sustaining ourselves.
Is that a Freudian
really
slip?
well.
Yeah, that's a Freudian slip. So we're pretty much done here.
Yeah.
But I really feel like there's like 3 things that we missed talking about.
We probably
I don't even
did,
know what they are.
But
we'll talk about
we
them
covered
again
a lot.
another
yeah,
time.
we'll talk
Covered a
about them
lot of
again.
things.
I tried to make this longer.
If
Let's-
America
it's probably
doesn't
50
die,
minutes. Okay, it's a little over 50 minutes, but we did for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
not-
we have the pre-show thing.
I think this was good.
Which we might release those pre-show
need to
things.
release
I know you
those.
want me to release
The
those.
audience will love them, Aaron.
Really?
Yes.
We'll do it. We'll do it later. We
Yeah,
still
we'll
have a
do
lot
it.
of things to do. Why don't we get that studio set up? Why don't we get that theme in? Get that like theme video at the starting.
Yes.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be really cool.
We passed that
Once
ketchup,
y'all see all of that, y'all are gonna be like, wow, these guys, they're serial.
Yeah, you'll be like, wow.
They're serial.
Wow.
So thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for dealing with the sick voice of mine, and thanks for waiting because we missed our week. We missed our
We
week.
did.
We
did.
said we were gonna do it in a week. It's been 9 days. Sorry for being 2 days late. I know now we have to change our name to the 2-day late show. So
But at least we are late.
yeah, at least we're late. At least we're
Like our name says.
yeah, like our name says. So thank you all for watching, and peace out.